from the VON Newsline. This is the VON Major Newscast.
Good evening. I am Tashan Tyson in with your VON Major News package for today, Friday, 5th April 2019. In our lead stories, nationally, ECCB committed to reducing the use of cash and checks in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, and Prime Minister Harris attending RSS Council of Ministers meeting. Regionally, 3 Guyana government MPs who resigned to renounce foreign citizenship. Internationally, ex-Vice President jokes about physical contact in first speech since allegations he made women uncomfortable. And in sports, inter-primary athletes presented with medals and trophies. We'll have the details of these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, VON.
Welcome back. Another national news in detail. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB, is committed to reducing the use of cash and checks in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. So says the bank's governor, Mr. Timothy Antoine. However, Governor Antoine says cash has its convenience and will continue to play a very important role in the economies of the ECCU member states for the foreseeable future.
Although a full-scale analysis of the social costs of physical cash in the ECCU has not yet been carried out, it is indisputable that the costs of cash services, including transporting, storing, insuring, securing, are extremely high. Invariably, these high costs are passed on to the consumer. Many people do not recognize that, but that is what happens.
Governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB, Timothy Antoine. The governor said that while the bank is committed to reducing excess cash and checks usage, small businesses are faced with the burdens of cost inefficiencies.
For example, some of our businesses are required to pay as much as 3.5% on every credit card sale. That exorbitant charge reduces and in some instances removes the incentives for small businesses to offer their customers electronic options such as credit cards and debit cards. And if they do, it limits their ability to offer customers discounts because of the costs that they're paying to provide the card services.
Governor of Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB, Timothy Antoine. Prime Minister and Minister of National Security of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Honorable Timothy Harris, is in St. Vincent and the Grenadines for a Regional Security System RSS Council of Ministers meeting. The RSS is the military support unit for the OECS sub-region. Its membership comprises of the independent countries of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, namely Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, along with Barbados, which is a Caribbean Community CARICOM member state. RSS Council members comprise government ministers who hold responsibility for the national security portfolio in their respective countries. The regional security system promotes cooperation among the member states in the prevention and interdiction of traffic in illegal narcotic drugs and provides assistance to them in matters related to national emergencies, search and rescue, immigration control, fisheries protection, customs and excise control, maritime policing duties, natural and other disasters, pollution control, combating threats to national security, the prevention of smuggling, and the protection of offshore installations and exclusive economic zones. Supporting Prime Minister Harris at that meeting in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are Acting Commissioner of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, Mr. Hilroy Brandy, and Lieutenant Colonel of the St. Kitts Nevis Defense Force, Mr. Joseph Anthony Comrie. High-level delegations from Canada, the European Union, the United Kingdom, and the United States of America are also in attendance. The 2019 hurricane season, which begins on June 1st, is forecast to show slightly below normal activity. Colorado State University, regarded as one of the leading seasonal hurricane forecasters, says the hurricane season will have 13 named storms, 5 hurricanes and 2 major hurricanes with winds of above 178 kilometers per hour. It said that information obtained through March 2019 indicates that the 2019 Atlantic hurricane season will have activity slightly below the 1981 to 2010 average. An average season has 12 tropical storms, 6 of which are hurricanes. A tropical storm becomes a hurricane when its wind speeds reaches 74 miles per hour. In 2018, 15 named storms developed in the Atlantic Ocean. 8 were hurricanes and 2 were major hurricanes. In 2017, several Caribbean countries, including St. Kitts and Nevis, were severely affected after Hurricanes Maria and Irma passed through the Lesser Antilles. Reports reaching the VON Newsline have indicated that a shooting incident occurred here in St. Kitts and Nevis sometime this afternoon. Additionally, unconfirmed reports suggest that one person was gunned down. Although the details are sketchy, the VON Newsline will provide more on this story as it develops. Thus far, the Federation has recorded 8 murders for 2019. Officers of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force are currently on the hunt for a man wanted for questioning. A police communique received today, Friday, 5th April, indicates that the police are seeking the assistance of the public with apprehending a man involved in a sexual assault incident in the Bastille area. The release further stated that investigations revealed that at approximately 2 a.m. on March 26th, the assailant entered the premises where the victim was staying and sexually assaulted her. Investigations into the matter are ongoing. A special appeal is being made to anyone who may have any information regarding this incident to contact the Special Victims Unit SVU, the nearest police station, or dial the crime hotline at 707 if you have information that can lead to the apprehension of the perpetrator. Plans are afoot for the hosting of Restaurant Week 2019, according to Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Mr. John Hanley. Restaurant Week, which is slated to run from July 18th to July 28th, 2019, is now into its 5th year. Mr. Hanley made the announcement at the opening ceremony of the 25th Annual Agriculture Open Day. According to Mr. Hanley, the aim of Restaurant Week is to promote buy local, eat local.
The mission of Restaurant Week is to promote greater local sourcing of our fantastic produce that we grow here on St. Kitts and Nevis, and working with our restaurateurs and the dining public to encourage all to eat local. And not only do we want to encourage you to eat local for the 11 days of Restaurant Week, but we also want to encourage you to do that all year long.
Mr. Hanley also revealed what the key ingredient for this year's Restaurant Week will be.
Every year, Restaurant Week activities surround a key theme local ingredient. We work with our farmers and agro-processors to stimulate local production of that ingredient and innovative products featuring that ingredient. And restaurants participating in Restaurant Week design their Restaurant Week menus focusing on that special ingredient. In 2015, the theme ingredient was local breadfruit. In 2016, the theme of Restaurant Week was local pumpkin. 2017, the theme was local yam. And last year, we had plantain. We have certainly seen some exciting and amazingly creative dishes and cocktails using these local ingredients. And now we are pleased to announce that this year's local theme ingredient for the 2019 St. Kitts and Nevis Restaurant Week is coconut.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Mr. John Hanley. The Department of Community Development will be holding its annual Easter camp from Monday, April 8th to Friday, April 19th at 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. daily at the Prospect and Butlers Community Centers, and from Monday, April 8th to Friday, April 12th at the Jessops Community Center. The camp is open to children ages 5 to 16, and this year's theme is Easter eggs and traditional games. To provide some insight about the camp, traditional games have been used during the camp in previous years to encourage children to keep an active and healthy lifestyle. The VON Newsline spoke to an officer of the Community Development Department, Ms. Denicia Smitten, who explained some of the activities the department has planned.
We would have them play different traditional games. Mississippi, Dog and Bone, Brown Girl in the Ring, and different games that we used to play back when we went to primary school. But nowadays, the children are in their games, PS4, PlayStation, and they don't go outside and socialize and have fun with one another. So we want to reintroduce that. We'll also have kite making. Our facilitator is coming to teach the children how to make kites. Explaining me, but it's EDD, explaining me. They'll use an egg and they'll write things about themselves. We'll also have them do Easter postcards, cooking class, and also to highlight the importance of Easter, we'll include that in our camp so that they could be aware of the significance of the Easter holidays.
Ms. Denicia Smitten. The registration fee is $25 per child. Finally, the St. Kitts Nevis Chamber of Industry and Commerce is one of 16 chambers of commerce which attended the launch and first official meeting of the Network of Chambers of Commerce, Charisham. On the first day of a two-day meeting on April 1st, 2019 in Barbados, history was created with the official signing of a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, establishing the network. The objective of the meeting was to provide feedback which would allow the network to craft a framework to serve its members effectively. Executive Director of the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Carlos Wharton, outlined that the formalization of the network was timely, with one of its core objectives being to create greater value for members across the region. Wharton also highlighted the importance of the Chamber speaking with a united voice in an evolving environment where states have been facing increasing challenges related to trade and development at the regional and international levels. Discussions amongst the representatives from the chambers across the region continue. That's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com or check us out on Facebook at Von Radio or our Von Radio YouTube channel for these and other stories. News from across the region is next.
Ladies and gentlemen, this here's another one for the steppers.
Swipe to win big in 2019. That's right, the Bank of Nevis Limited is once again giving you, our valued customers, a chance to win big. Just swipe or use your Bond Visa credit card for US $100 for a chance to win a cruise for two, an iPhone XS, or a grocery dash at Best Buy Supermarket.
Say what?
Sign up for a Bond Visa credit card and automatically be entered for a chance to win. This offer ends August 31st, 2019. So tell your friends and family, just swipe to win big with the Bank of Nevis. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram.
Welcome back. Another regional news in detail. 3 of the 4 government legislators who resigned earlier this week because of their dual citizenship will give up the citizenship that has made them eligible to serve in the country's National Assembly. While the government did not identify those parliamentarians by name, It said that 3A Partnership for National Unity, APNU, ministers of government have indicated that they will renounce their foreign citizenship. Of those who have resigned, Vice President and Minister of Foreign Affairs Carl Greenidge, Minister of Public Services Dr. Rupert Rupnerine, and Minister of State Joseph Hammond are members of the APNU, while Minister of Business Dominic Gaskin, who was born in Britain, is a member of the Alliance for Change AFC, which is the smaller party in the coalition APNU-AFC government. Vice President and Minister of Foreign Affairs Carl Greenidge, Minister of State Joseph Hammond, Minister of Business Dominic Gaskin, and Minister of Public Service Dr. Rupert Rupnerine resigned from the National Assembly on Monday. The dual citizenship issue had been ruled on the court when the coalition government challenged the validity of the no-confidence motion passed against it on December 21, 2018, when then-government backbencher Sharandas Prasad, who has Canadian citizenship, voted with the opposition. Out of the British Virgin Islands. 1 in every 2 unemployed young locals in the British Virgin Islands will soon receive job opportunities. Premier Andrew Fay said this is one of his administration's soon-to-be implemented initiatives for the territory's youth. It will be done over the next 5 years. According to Premier Fay, as a means of facilitating youth employment, we are proposing to partner with private business to employ our youth, for which we will cover 10% of the salary for the first year. The initiative will also assist with government's commitment of 1,000 jobs in 1,000 days. Premier Fay said a more detailed outline of the program will be forthcoming in the next 30 days. The initiative, in the meantime, will also have a training component. Out of Bermuda. The island is set on becoming a significant destination for cryptocurrency businesses. In February, Signature Bank of New York announced it would provide business bank accounts to Bermuda-based crypto companies. The Premier of Bermuda, David Burt, said that effort and methodology has succeeded in attracting 70 companies so far to open Bermuda operations. Bermuda created a blockchain task force in November 2017, primarily to bring new business to the island, help boost GDP, and create meaningful jobs, while helping to prepare our financial system and economy for the future, Burt added. This followed the crypto exchange Binance signed a deal to open a $10 million compliance center in Bermuda in April 2018. Out of Jamaica. 5 hospitals and 10 health centers are expected to be upgraded over the next 5 years as part of an Inter-American Development Bank IDB Ministry of Health program to strengthen Jamaica's health care system. On Tuesday, Minister of Health Dr. Christopher Tufton signed a $100 million loan agreement to kickstart the program, which is aimed at boosting the country's fight against non-communicable diseases, NCDs, at a launch workshop held at the IDB's office in Kingston. Dubbed the Health System Strengthening for the Prevention and Care Management of NCDs program, the initiative aims to improve the health of Jamaica's population by bolstering policies for the prevention of NCD risk factors and implementation of chronic care model with enhanced access to integrated primary and hospital service networks. The loan includes 2 elements: a U.S. $50 million programmatic policy-based PBP loan and a U.S. $50 million investment loan. That's it for regional stories. Stay with us for news from around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. Ex-Vice President Joe Biden joked twice about having permission to touch people earlier today during his first public appearance since several women alleged he made them uncomfortable in encounters over the years. After his speech at the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, IBEW, construction conference in Washington, D.C., Biden also said that while he was sorry he didn't understand more about how his behavior made women feel. Biden, however, used humor during his speech today in reference to the allegations. After being introduced by IBEW President Lonnie Stevenson, and after which a few children made their way to the stage, Biden told the crowd,
"I just want you to know I had permission to hug Lonnie. Anyway, and you guys can sit in the edge or what. I don't want you to have to stand all along, but it's up to you. By the way, he gave me permission to touch him."
The world's richest man, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, and his wife Mackenzie have agreed to a record-breaking divorce settlement of at least $35 billion. Mrs. Bezos keeps a 4% stake in the online retail giant, worth $35.6 billion on its own. Amazon was founded by Jeff Bezos in Seattle in 1994, a year after the couple married, and Mrs. Bezos was one of its first employees. A man accused of shooting dead rapper Nipsey Hussle has pleaded not guilty to murder and attempted murder. Eric Holder faces a maximum sentence of life in prison if convicted. Nipsey Hussle, whose real name was Amias Ashgidom, was shot multiple times outside a clothing shop he owned in LA last Sunday. Jussie Smollett will be sued by the city of Chicago after refusing to reimburse the cost of investigating an alleged assault on him in the city. Prosecutors say a homophobic and racist attack was staged to boost the actor's career. But Smollett has always maintained his innocence. The 36-year-old was given 7 days to pay $130,000 to cover the investigation's cost. A group of world investigators, including the Church of England Pensions Board, has called on mining companies and other extraction industries to disclose fully how they manage all their waste tailings in the wake of recent tragedies in Brazil. They have written to nearly 700 companies worldwide, asking them to disclose the information within 45 days. The BBC's Danny Abahart has more details.
The collapse of a tailings dam at an iron ore mine in Brumadinho in Brazil in January was a stark reminder of the dangers when waste management goes wrong. More than 200 people died. This group of investors, which also includes Sweden's national pension funds and major multinationals, are not at this stage threatening to disinvest, but they manage assets of $10 trillion. So they're hoping the initiative will encourage safer practices globally. For some, there's a clear ethical dimension to safeguard lives, but it will also allow hard calculations about risk and liability.
And finally, the British Prime Minister Theresa May has written to the President of the European Council, Donald Tusk, to request a further delay in the Brexit process until the 30th of June. The BBC's Ian Watson explains what this could mean.
The June the 30th date is significant. It's the day before the new European Parliament meets, so the logic is that this date would give the Prime Minister a bit longer to seal a deal, but without the need for British MEPs to take their seats in a body which the UK electorate had voted to leave. However, Theresa May has previously proposed this date, and the EU previously rejected it. Brussels had insisted that the UK leaves by May the 22nd, before the polling day for the European elections. It's likely the EU will now offer a longer extension, with the ability for the UK to leave earlier if Parliament ratifies a deal.
That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
are going green in the month of April. Purchase your selected eco-friendly products, including solar panels in store. Receive 20% discount and a free green shopping bag. Join us as we celebrate Earth Week from 22nd to 29th. Take along your green bag and receive an extra 5% off all the items that can fit inside. Live green. Shop at the TDC Home and Building Depots. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details. Offer good while stocks last.
Welcome back for another Sports in Detail in local sports. The day after the annual Inter-Primary Schools Athletic Championship, also known as the Mini Olympics, a brief ceremony was held at the NEPA courtyard situated at Pennies. The ceremony was chaired by Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, and the list of athletes in the various age categories and events were called to the fore by Meet Director Mr. Garfield Virgo. The actual presentations of medals and trophies were jointly shared by the following individuals: Permanent Secretary Mr. Kevin Barrett, Junior Minister of Education Honorable Troy Liburd, Director of Sports Jamia Claxton, and one of the patrons for this year's event, Miss Letitia Clark. The top 3 athletes in each event were presented with their respective medals, and then the overall top athletes. In more local sports. The Titans Track Club will host its relay meet this Sunday, 7th April, at the Nevis Athletic Stadium, alias the Mondo Track. This is in collaboration with their major sponsor, A1 Technology. The event will see top athletes from St. Kitts and Nevis in the youths, junior, and senior categories, representing various track clubs from both islands. The events are as follows: 4x100 meters, 4x200 meters, 4x400 meters, and 4x800 meters. Sprint medley and distance medley. Adults will only be required to pay $15 and children $10. In football. Brazil legend Pelé says he feels so much better after being admitted to a Paris hospital for a urinary tract infection. The 78-year-old had been taken in for treatment on Wednesday after a promotional event with Paris Saint-Germain forward Kylian Mbappe. In recent years, Pelé was taken to hospital for kidney and prostate problems and for exhaustion last year. Widely regarded as the greatest player of all time, he scored 1,281 goals in 1,363 appearances during his 21 career, including 77 goals in 91 appearances for Brazil. He is the only player to win 3 World Cups, helping his country to triumphs in 1958, 1962, and 1970, and was named FIFA's Player of the Century. And finally, UEFA President Alexander Ceferin says he will ask referees to be brave and stop matches where there is racial abuse from fans. Chelsea and England winger Callum Hudson-Odoi, 18, was subjected to abuse in games against Dynamo Kiev and Montenegro last month. Manchester City and England forward Raheem Sterling suffered alleged racist abuse from Chelsea fans in a Premier League game at Stamford Bridge in December, while a study published in November found that half of football supporters in the UK have witnessed racism while watching matches. Sterling has called on football authorities to take a proper stance and crack down on racist abuse. Chelsea boss Mauricio Sarri, Liverpool's Jurgen Klopp, and Tottenham's Mauricio Pochettino are among the managers who say they would be prepared to take their players off the pitch to combat racist chanting. That's it for sports. The General Weather Report is next. Welcome back, and now the local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight will be partly cloudy with a 30% to a low chance of showers. Winds are easterly with speeds ranging between 22 to 37 kilometers per hour or 12 to 20 knots. Seas are 1.5 to 2.1 meters or 5 to 7 feet. Therefore, a caution for small craft operators remains in effect mainly for the eastern side of the island. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:02 a.m. And that's our wrap up the major news package for today, Friday, 5th April 2019. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, ECCB committed to reducing the use of cash and checks in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. And Prime Minister Harris attending RSS Council of Ministers meeting. Regionally, 3 Guyana government MPs who resigned to renounce foreign citizenship. Internationally, ex-Vice President jokes about physical contact in first speech since allegations he made women uncomfortable. And in sports, inter-primary athletes presented with medals and trophies. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tashon Tyson, wishing you a safe and an enjoyable weekend.